Maternal Instinct, Chapter 11, New Life. Great! So now what do you do? Ron moaned as he looked around the cell and the others were trapped in. We're still sticking to my original plan. We're going to get Shego and now Dr. McCoy out here and take down every last one of those walking toasters once and for all, Kim said, a new sense of determination filling her voice. The outcome is unlikely, the BB guard spoke up. Kim forgot about her modesty and walked up to the shimmering blue light that made up the force field around them all inside the cell. She could feel the electricity dancing off the field near her face, in comparison to the electricity crackling in her eyes as she stared down the robot. Want to tell me why that's unlikely? You are our prisoners. You have no weapons. You have no plan, the baby replied instantly. That's true. Kim admitted as she hung her head. She slowly raised it again, a smirk on her face and a devious twinkle in her eye that masked any of Shego's looks. And does that terrify you? The BB looked at her with cold and merciless stare for several seconds before it finally spun back on its heel to continue its guard duty. Kim allowed herself a quick smirk at her before returning around as well, and started to scan the cell for anything that could help them escape. Well, KP, that was, you sure being around Shego all the time isn't affecting you? Ron asked, slightly worried. Maybe, but I gotta admit, sometimes that helps, Kim remarked as he continued to survey the area. I guess so, Ron muttered as he cast a glance back to the BB bot. So, what exactly is your plan for getting out of here? Well, I haven't quite figured that part out yet. She admitted, then looked over her shoulder at him. But when I do, it'll be real impressive. Shego screamed as another contraction rocked her body. It felt like someone was trying to rip her in two. And was he really thought about it? It was almost exactly what was happening. Of course, those moments of clarity were far and few between, thanks to not only the pain of labor, but also the frustration of being captured. When the contractions passed and her strength returned, she still tried to escape, but no avail. It didn't help matters much that after each contraction it felt weaker and weaker. Once she finally delivered, she was definitely going to need a nap for a few hours. But she first needed to get out of there. She was determined not to let her baby be born in the presence of a bunch of muzzleless robots. If she wanted that, she could have just stayed with her family. The moment of levitating the joke brought her was quickly shunted by a stinging sensation in her left arm. She looked over to find one of the BBs injecting some kind of liquid into her through a syringe. What is that? What are you doing? She demanded, sounding almost panicked. That is exactly what I would like to know. What are you doing to her? A new voice asked. Shego, as well as the BBs, went towards the source of the voice to find the Queen BB stepping into the room, almost casually striding up to Shego's side. The former thief growled at the mechanical woman. It was even more she could break free so she could control her. She has recently entered the first stages of labor. Baby, holding syringe, addressed her queen. I was merely administering a serum that should help accelerate the process. Excellent, the queen spoke approvingly. You have done well, my subject. Thank you, your majesty, the baby replied with a slight bow. The queen nodded to her and looked menacingly at the cat Shego. Well, it seems your usefulness to us is almost up. Soon we will have our prize, and you, well, if you have any faith, I suggest you start praying to whatever god you believe in. Oh, I believe in something, all right, Shego remarked in a voice dripping with venom. I believe I'm going to get out of here. When I do, I'm going to make a killing selling your parts for scrap. Also so bold and defiant, the queen spoke softly. She ran a hand through Shego's hair, causing her flinch. I almost appreciate that. However, I cannot afford defiance from anyone, so I would watch my tongue if I were you. We still have the option of simply cutting the baby out of you. I'm allowing you to live this long, so you might experience what I've been told is the joy of childbirth. Oh, it's a real joy, all right. The queen smiled evilly at that. Precisely. I have a feeling that this is inflicting more pain on you than I ever could. With that, she turned and walked towards the door. As it slid open, she paused at the doorway and looked to her shoulder at her subjects. Let me know the second the baby is born, she commanded. And what shall we do with her? One of the BBs asked, pointing to Shego. That's easy enough. Kill her. On another part of the hive, removed from the drama surrounding Kim and Shego, the communicator, Kim's supersuit, and now Smazzy AMP gun, all set, amid extra panels and circuit boards in a storage closet. The still darkness of the room was interrupted when the communicator screen switched on, and Wade found himself looking at the small square projected at the closet ceiling. "Kim? Ron? Anyone?" he asked desperately. When he didn't receive an answer, he quickly switched off the device over to remote control. A small set of wings popped out of his sides before it hovered in the air. He positioned it so he could get a good look at the table it had been laying on, and upon seeing Kim's discarded supersuit, his emotions ranged from embarrassed to concern in seconds. "This isn't good," he said to himself. He maneuvered the communicator around the closet to get his bearings, smiling when he found the access panel on the floor. He ordered the device over to it. A quick scan gave him the code to open the door. Once in the main corridor, he turned the communicator back and forth to search for any sign of the BBs, letting out a sigh of relief when there wasn't one. "Looks like the coast is clear," he thought. "I probably could find the communicator just under their radar so they wouldn't notice it. But even if I did find Kim, what use could I be with just this? Gotta be something else I could do." He sat in silence for several seconds as he tried to come up with some kind of plan. Fortunately, even flying with the communicator, there was only so much he could do from behind his computer in his home. There were only a few times he was actually out there with Kim and Ron. If he was there with them, he might be able to get a better idea of what they're up against. Some kind of layout these new additions to the building babies made. At the very least, he could hack into their systems. "Wait, that's it!" he exclaimed as he snapped his fingers. He moved the communicator back into the closet and hid it out of sight. Now he just had to wait, and hope that a suddenly open closet door would arouse as much suspicion as a robot would a person. Surely enough, only a minute or so later, a baby noticed the open door and opened to investigate. As he scanned the area for anything unusual, Wade kept the communicator above the door frame, just out of his line of sight. For now, he hoped it would keep going unnoticed until he was ready to make his move. He had to be quick about it, if this plan was going to work. He typed away as quickly and quietly as he could. Right as the baby was about to turn to leave, he struck. The communicator flew into the robot's back and locked into whatever circuits it could find there. Right as the baby extended his hands to remove the offending device, a powerful electrical surge went through it, shutting all its systems down in a matter of seconds. It stood motionless for a moment, then powered back up and slowly raised its head, went side to side to flex its fingers and arms as it was getting used to its own body. "All right, phase 1 complete," Wade mused as his home monitor showed the baby seeing. "Now, to find Kim and get her out of here." He typed a few more sequences and was able to access everything into BB's memory banks. The first thing he did was locate the holding cell where Kim and the others were being held, and pick up their discarded equipment before heading out to free them. "Hold on tight, guys, I'm coming," he muttered. Back in the holding cell, Dr. McCoy was beginning to question his decision about hiring the supposedly undefeatable Team Possible. Not only had they been captured and stripped of all their gear, and in Kim's case just stripped, but now their great hope for escape was the blonde boy's little pet. "I can't believe our chance for escape depends on who wrote it. He's got..." Rufus protested from his place on the floor. "Dude, he's a naked mole rat, and he's done plenty of things like this times before, hasn't he, buddy?" Ron encouraged his second best friend. The naked mole rat agreed vigorously, and back to sniffing around for something he could use. "Yeah, that's great. But has he found something useful for right now?" Dr. McCoy asked, feeling more frustrated by the minute. Ron looked down expectantly at Rufus, who could only give him an apologizing look as he shook his head silently. "Sorry," he squeaked. "Oh, it's okay. You did your best," Ron reassured him. "We'll find some other way out of here." "How could you possibly know that?" "Because that's what we do, Dr. McCoy. We all find ways out of impossible situations." Kim remarked from her place on the far wall, a hint of annoyance crawling to her voice as well. "Well, you've done a bang-up job of it so far," the scientist retorted as he started to turn towards her. "Stop! No peeking, remember!" she scolded. He stopped mid-turn with an irritated sigh, to look back around, but he started to cover the side of his face with his hands as he did so. "Wasn't trying to peek. God, the last thing I need at this point is to be leveled a pedophile." "I'm 17!" Kim shouted back, feeling somewhat offended. "That's still young enough to get me in trouble with the police. And again, I don't need that added on to all the Frankenstein references I'm going to hear." "Yes, I'm sorry for all the bad things you had to endure," Kim muttered venomously. Dr. McCoy was about to make another snide remark, But stopped when he noticed Ron and Rufus giving him colder glares than anything from their captors. He looked between the two, and sighed when Kim's statement repeated herself in his head. He realized what an incredibly selfish jackass he was being. He started turning around to apologize to her, but stopped when he remembered her rule. "I'm sorry," he said, feeling a bit odd while not looking at her while saying it. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I thought I was helping the world, not doing it." Kim closed her eyes and took in a deep breath, then exhaled slowly to calm herself down before speaking. "It's not your fault," she replied. "You couldn't have known the BBs were going to take your chip and use it for the new queen. Don't think any of us could have known that. And I'm sorry for snapping at you. I just worry about Shego and Shin is all. I honestly have no idea how to get out of here." "Well, you could," Ron started. "What are you doing?" the voice of their guard called out. Ron clenched his hands over his mouth, afraid that the BB might have overheard him. He, along with Kim, Rufus, and Dr. McCoy, looked towards the robot and see he wasn't anything of them, but rather another BB that was walking up to the cell. What immediately caught their attention was that this new one was wearing Ron's mission belt around its waist, while Kim's supersuit was slumped over its right shoulder. Kim and Ron looked at each other to see either of them had a clue what was going on. But when they both shrugged in confusion, they went back to watching the two robots. "I am here for the shift change," the new BB spoke. "Negative. There are no shift changes," the first BB replied. "Again, what are you doing here? And why do you have the prisoner's weapons?" "Alright, I guess I'll have to do it the hard way," the second BB replied, voice changing. Before the guard BB could react, the new one raised its fist and extended through the other robot's head, crushing its fists in. Sparks flew out of the hole as the body twitched violently for a few seconds before falling to the ground in a heap. The new BB retracted its hand, dropping a few stray pieces of circuit boards. Walking up to the panel of the cell, quickly deactivating the force field. Kim and Ron quickly tensed up, arraying for themselves for a while Dr. McCoy snuck back into one of the far corners of the room. "Relax, guys, it's me," the BB said in a very familiar voice. "Wade?" the two teen heroes cried out. "Yep." "But how?" Kim asked, stepping forward a bit. In response, the BB turned around to reveal the communicator stuck into its back, and laid his face smiling at him. He gave them a quick wave from the view screen before turning the BB around to face him again. "Here, thought you guys might need these," he said, holding out Kim's suit and Ron's belt. Kim quickly grabbed the suit, and nearly tripped herself over getting it back on. When the zipper reached the top of the suit's turtleneck, she let out a sigh of relief. "Finally!" she breathed. "You have no idea how embarrassing that was." "I have some idea," Ron replied as he snapped the belt into place, and Rufus jumped back into his pocket. "Thought you didn't get embarrassed," Kim teased with a playful smirk. "Now you know why I said some idea." Kim allowed her smile to widen as she snapped her own belt back into place, with it having some sense of finality being in control of the sitch. The feeling didn't last long, however. So he reached the holder and pulled out bits and pieces of something. "Wade, what's this?" she addressed Wade while controlled BB. "What's left of the MP gun," he replied. "Sorry, Kim. Guess they figured it was the most dangerous thing you had, so they smashed it." "Great," she sighed, letting the pieces fall to the floor. "Guess we'll have to think of another way to stop them." She looked over the robot again, and finally seemed to click as to exactly what having them meant. "Wade, how long can you control that BB?" "Not sure. The system's pretty complicated. It's already trying to fight me back," he replied. "So you can't control it indefinitely?" BB shook its head, and Kim snapped her fingers with irritation. "Guess that rules out using it as part of our escape plan," she muttered. "I was able to download older schematics for the building while I was there," Wade mentioned offhandedly. Kim's smile returned. "Wade, you Stadium Rock." "I know." Kim walked around to the back of the robot, started to reach for the communicator, but stopped halfway. "If I remove the communicator, will the BB come back online?" she asked, wiggled there uncertainly. "Yeah, but I honestly can't say how long it'll take. Might take a few minutes, or could happen right away," he explained. "Then I guess I'll have to do this fast." With that, Kim reached down and yanked out the communicator jumped off the platform with a perfectly aimed spin kick that knocked the BB's head off her shoulders in one move. The headless body staggered for a bit and started to walk before, but only got about an inch before collapsing to the floor. Kim brushed the hair out of her face with a satisfied smirk, then looked down at the communicator. Okay, Wade, tell me where they got Shego. She ordered in a voice that told him he had better know now. Wade swallowed nervously before hitting a few keys, replacing his image with one of the building's new floor plan. Here you are! His voice explained as a red dot appeared to indicate her presence. Shego is here! A green dot then appeared on the other side of the map. Kim studied the map for a moment, and was at least grateful for the fact that the room they were holding Shego in was on the same floor as the cell she and the others had just occupied. Now the only question was how to get from here to there without running into a mess of BBs. Does the suit still have enough power to run at super speed? She asked. Should be good for a couple more times. And I keep this map up, would it still work even if I'm moving at hyperspeed? Yeah, Wade drew out, beginning to understand what Kim was getting at. Kim, you're not going to... Yep, she hastily replied, before switching out the audio. Then turned to Ron and Dr. McCoy. Okay, boys, hold on tight. We're going for a ride! Before either of them could offer up a protest, Kim pressed the button to activate the suit's super speed ability. Once again, the world lost its focus as Kim entered the space Wade had done hyper time. She picked up Ron and Dr. McCoy, then after scanning the map, made a beeline for where they were holding Shego. Thankfully, she carried very little resistance, save for two BBs that tried to block out the corridor holding the room, but they were quickly taken care of by a double spin kick that knocked off both their heads. Then Kim arrived at their destination, set her two passengers down, and clicked out the bell to return to normal time. Oh man, did we hit some turbulence back there? Ron asked, as he held his head, trying to fight out the dizzy feeling he had. It was nothing. Kim brushed off as she stepped towards the door. She studied the keypad on the right side of the door for a moment, and realized there were probably thousands, perhaps millions of combinations mixed in it. It would take even Wade a while to figure it out. Certainly much longer than they had. Though she supposed he could hack directly into the locking mechanism itself. That could also take time. No, there was only one surefire method she wanted to use right now. She took a step back from the door, and with a feral scream, brought her right foot up and kicked the door with all of her and the suit's strength. A loud clang resonated throughout the hallway as the door fell into the room. The three BBs inside all turned towards Kim and glared at her. Well, they definitely know we're here now, Dr. McCoy muttered. Kim ignored his statement and ran into the room at full charge. She performed an amazing jump kick that knocked out the heads of the BBs, but then was quickly ensnared by the other two's extended hands. She grunted as she struggled to move a hand down to the suit's belt. Once he pressed another button, along with a release of powerful electric shock, the BBs shuddered violently as the shock caused several sparks and many explosions to break out along their bodies, where they finally powered down and collapsed, releasing Kim as they did so. Once they did, Kim took a deep breath before turning her attention to Captain Shego. Are you all right? She asked, leaning over to the older woman a bit. Oh yeah, I'm just perfect. Before you barged in, the BBs and I were having a nice discussion about Sid's future. Shego remarked in her mock sweet voice. Then her face suddenly grew very dark as she glared at Kim for asking the dumbest question in the world. Of course I'm not all right! I'm tied to a table, and I've been poked and prodded by machines. How would you feel? All right, I'm sorry. I was just worried. Kim relented as he backed off. You can worry about me after we get the hell out of here! All right, Seaver nodded. She then stepped over to the restraint, holding down Shego's right arm, grabbed onto the inside as much as she could pull with all her might. She and the metal both groaned under the strain. After she put a foot up for greater support, the metal finally gave way and the restraint broke in half with a loud snap. Kim let out a small squeak of surprise as the sudden break caused her to fall hard into the metal floor. And once she picked up, she noticed Shego had already ignited her free hand, starting to smash the remaining restraints. She pulled herself to a sitting position as Kim went over to help her off the table. Before Shego could protest to help, she suddenly gave Kim's right hand and began to squeeze as hard as she let out a terrible scream. Shego! Kim called out in concern. What is it? Are you all right? It's Shin. Shego grunted through the pain. Kim's white in horror. Oh God, did they do something to her? Shego let out another scream before answering. Something. said I was supposed to speed up the labor process, and it damn sure seems to be working. Then you... Yes! Very yes! We gotta get you out of here, Kim shouted as she helped Shego off the table and started walking towards the door. Wait! Shego breathed. The contraction finally passed. We don't have time to wait. What about the babies? That stopped Kim dead in her tracks. She knew that at this point they had to be alert not only to her escape, but also her rescue of Shego. Very certain that she could, with the suit, handle them at least long enough for all of them to get down. But deep down, she knew that wasn't a question Shego was asking. What she really meant was, who was going to stop the babies? Kim took back certain feelings as she tried to continue saving Shego. We'll get someone else to handle them. I'm sure Global Justice has a few tricks up their sleeve that could take them out, she said, trying to convince herself as much as Shego. Passing the job off to someone else? It doesn't sound like you, Shego goaded. This is different. How? Because... She struggled to find the words. Because of me? Because of her? Shego asked, holding her stomach. Kim lowered her head, almost shamefully. Yeah, that's exactly why you need to stop that metal bitch here and now! Who knows how long it'll take GJ to get their crap together and set a team down here. By that point, it might already be too late. Right now, you're the only one that can stop her, and you know it! But I have to get you out of here! Kim pleaded desperately. No! Shego snapped, grabbing the collar of the redhead's suit and pulling her face to face. You have to go save the world! Kim wanted to protest. She wanted to say something that would shoot down Shigo's argument. Something that proved her place as the pale woman's side as she gave birth to their daughter. But she couldn't. Because again, she knew deep down she was right. She was Kim Possible and had a world to save. She closed her eyes. It took a moment to get everything right in her head. Family, Kim would have to wait till later. Right now, Shego, Ron, and Dr. McCoy and the world needed Mission Kim. She slowly reopened her eyes. She could see the fire in them the redhead usually had on a mission returned. That's my girl, she whispered with a smile. Kim leaned forward and gave Shego a quick kiss. Thank you, she said softly, then turned her attention to Ron. Ron, take the communicator and get her and Dr. McCoy out of here. Me? Ron asked, looking uneasily at Shego. Yes, you. I know you could do this. If you can't do it for Shego, at least do it for me. She then placed her hand on his wrist and looked at him softer a bit. Please. We'll look into her eyes, and any resistance Ron had to the idea was gone. Kim wasn't quite giving in the puppy dog pout, but he could still see the same pleading look in her eyes, behind all that bravado. It was a look that ensured Ron would never say no to her. Damn sure wasn't going to let her down. All right, he replied with a nod. Thank you, Kim said as he handed over the communicator. Wait, are you going to need this to get back to the Queen's throne room? He asked, silly the device. Oh, don't worry. I think I can find my way back there, she remarked as her finger over the button to activate super speed. Wait a sec. Shego spoke. What? Shego stepped forward and looked Kim right in the eyes. That metal bitch kidnapped me, pumped me full of some kind of drug, and threatened to harvest our daughter for some kind of experiment. Even if I can't be there myself to do it, I want you to make sure you give her a few good ones for me and Shin. Kim's hand balled up to a fist as her eye narrowed dangerously. Oh, I intend to, she said menacingly, before pressing a button and disappearing. The only way that this scene could have been more perfect was if Kim took Shego in her arms, tipped her over, and gave her a big, wet one. So much for romantic love. Shego stared at her at a spot the girl had been standing here. A soft smile spread across her face. Gotta love her, she muttered. Yeah, Ron breathed in agreement. Shego cocked an eyebrow at him. He shook his head as he realized what he said. He chuckled nervously before changing the subject. So, how do we get out of here? I don't know. You've got Kid's fancy walkie-talkie. Why don't you ask Nerdlinger? Shego suggested. Oh, right! Ron replied with his usual griffin grin as he flipped the communicator. Hey, Wade? What's up, Ron? Too much to tell right now. I just need to know if you have any way we can get out of here without being caught by all the BB bots. Well, the young genius started as he typed away on his keyboard. I was able to find the frequency their optic sensors are working on. I should be able to make the communicator put out that same frequency to cancel it out. This shouldn't make it fly to you. but only in sight. If you make a sound, they'll probably just adjust the frequencies and come after you. If that happens, then you better have an outstanding plan B, Shego remarked. When Kim arrived at the Queen's throne room, she found it surprisingly empty. At least, empty of any potential BB guards. The only other person in the room was the Queen herself, sitting on her throne and staring smugly at Kim. You're late. I expected you here 5 minutes ago, the metal woman mocked. Kim gasped, not only the casualness of the remark, but its deeper meaning. How did you? She wondered. Have you forgotten already? The babies run off a hive mind, and I am their queen. Therefore, I am the hive. I know everything that happens within these walls. I would know you would come here, just as I know your friends are trying to escape. She rose to her feet and gently walked down the small steps. Make no mistake, they will not escape. This is one situation where you will not win. We'll see about that, Kim muttered. She gave the super speed button a quick tap for a certain burst of acceleration to close the gap between her and the Queen. She deactivated when she was only mere inches away, swung her foot at the robot's head in hopes of ending the fight quickly. Fortunately, the Queen brought her left arm up in time to block the attack. Kim stared in surprise as her foot rested against the metal forearm. Not so much as a dent put into it. Please, the Queen muttered before quickly grabbing the front of Kim's suit and threw her to the far wall. Did you really think I wouldn't have studied up on you and your fighting techniques? Before Kim could even think of an answer or pick herself off the floor, the Queen appeared above and delivered a vicious kick to her stomach and sent her flying into the robot's waiting hand. Again, she was tossed around the room like a rag doll, skiing to a stop near the door and hitting the floor hard. The redhead coughed as she quickly picked herself up, thankful for a way that the suit took most of the damage. Even still, she could still feel the heat over her body. I'm sure there was going to be more than a few bruises there tomorrow. Didn't matter, though. She had to stop this creature here and now, for the sake of her daughter and the rest of the world. It was that thought that forced her back up to her feet. Are you still trying to fight? The Queen asked as she dropped a few strands of Kim's hair that came out of the last row. You should realize by now it's useless. Not if you have something to fight for, Kim replied as she took a fighting stance. And I've got plenty. You humans, so caught up in your arrogance. The Queen disappeared from view, but Quinn was quick enough to press the acceleration button on her belt that she not only caught up to her, but blocked the fist coming for her face. She twisted the Queen's arm down and delivered her own right hook into the robot's face before jumping up and kicking her in the stomach with both feet, knocking her back. The Queen stood up and glared at Kim before jumping forward to renew her attack. Kim dodged at first, then began to block and counterattack as the fight grew personal. I told you before, you cannot win this, the Queen shouted as she brought her fist down, only to have it avoided. We are the next evolutionary step. You merely represent the fossils of another time, desperately fighting the inevitable. Let me ask you something, Kim retorted as he dodged another fist and lashed out with a kick. Why is it you high and mighty types always talk about delaying the inevitable? How do you know what's inevitable just because you're full of yourself? Look around you! The robot shot back, striking a kick of her own to Kim's midsection. Did I lie when I told you technology already rules your lives? No. As mankind continues to grow, so does its technology, until finally that technology replaces mankind. My subjects and I are merely here to accelerate that process. She threw another punch, was connected to Kim's jaw, and sent her flying to the ground. Your place, if you truly still have one, is in a museum, an exhibit to be gawked at in confusion at how such a primitive people could ever rule this planet. She picked up Kim by the hair, struck a sharp blow to the center in the supersuit's belt, cracking it. Kim's body faded back into normal time, followed quickly by the Queen. She yanked the girl's head back, but to look at her face with a sadistic smirk. There now, no more running, she whispered, before throwing the King Piero's side again. Kim groaned as her body rolled along the floor before stopping face down. She simply lay there, staring down at the floor. It was hard and unforgiving as her current opponent had just as much give as her. No matter how many blows she struck or attacks she dodged, seeing the Queen was always there to give more. As like her subject, she never was going to tire. When Kim could feel her body giving out on her, despite the suit's help. She wasn't sure how much longer she could hold out, especially since one of her biggest advantages was just lost to her. She heard the sound of clanking of DeFell's footsteps coming closer. Thought he might be the one opponent she couldn't defeat. God help the rest of the world if she was right. Elsewhere in the hive, Ron, Shego, and Dr. McCoy had made quite a bit of progress in getting out of the structure. It was actually an impressive feat, given that a rather lanky teenage boy, not quite in shape scientist, had to carry a woman, pregnant woman who could give birth at any moment. He made sure to keep talking and noise to a minimum, as per Wade's instructions. He took special care not accidentally bumping into one of the BBs. He almost made it to that floor's exit, when Shego suddenly doubled over and started to groan. "What's wrong?" Ron whispered. "Having another contraction," Shego grunted. "Well, stop it! Not much of a choice here," she growled, before letting out a loud scream as pain tore through her body. The babies all turned their heads in the direction of a sudden scream, and puzzled to find nothing there. "Visual sensors not detecting a source for sound disruption. Malfunction?" a baby asked. "No. Visual frequency disruption. Switch frequencies," another answered. A low hum could be heard as the intruder's object sensors were simultaneously reset to overcome the frequency Ray had been using to mask the group's presence. Once they did, a mass chant of "Intruder Alert!" spread throughout the BBs as they slowly began to close in on 3. "I think they spotted us," Ron said apprehensively. "You think?" Shego and Dr. McCoy shot back. "Here, watch over her," Ron ordered Dr. McCoy as he unhooked himself from Shigo's arm and stepped forward. "What's he doing?" Dr. McCoy asked. "Probably getting ready to feel miserably," Shego muttered before she let out another scream. Ron had to ignore his own sense to scream and go running for the hills as the feminine bots started surrounding him. Usually, he wouldn't consider that a bad thing, but since these robots were bent on either capturing or killing him, he didn't really think it would end up this way, as it usually does these sci-fi fantasies. There was also the little fact they were after Shego and her baby, and he made a promise to Kim to keep them safe. It was a promise he intended to keep, not matter what happened. He crouched slightly into a fighting stance and prepared himself for something. "Okay, monkey powers, now would be a real good time to kick in," he chided his hidden powers. Just then, he felt something flow through him. It was like an adrenaline rush, only stronger and more controlled. There was no panic in it, only the comforting feeling that things would work out for the best. He took a moment to revel in it, before springing forward and attacking the nearest BB with a powerful kick to its stomach, collapsing the metal exterior and leaving a gap hole in its wake. The robot stumbled back and stared at the wound in confusion. Then looked back at Ron, right when he delivered an open palm strike to its chin, then succeeded in dislocating its head from the neck. The wires stayed intact, however, so the BB merely stumbled around and fled as Ron was in his search for its target. Ron used the confusion to his advantage, grabbing one of the arms and flipping the robot over his shoulder and into another BB, sending it both crashing to the ground. The next few moments seemed to blur together as Ron launched full force into his attack and began to punch, kick, and slam any of the BBs that dared to get near him, Shego or Dr. McCoy. While the two observing it seemed almost like a master of hand-to-hand fighting, his strategy was really just relying on his instincts to guide him through. He finally had no time to think or plan, just went with what felt right, and for the most part, it seemed to be working. When his foot came down on the last BB's face and crushed it in, his daze finally passed, and let out a last sigh, appearing to have passed out. "I think that's all of them," he muttered hastily. At this point, Rufus finally put his head out of Ron's pocket, and feeling the strange movements his human friend had made. Without a small glance, and stared slack-jawed at a pile of parts at Ron's feet. It was a sentiment shared by Dr. McCoy and especially Shego. "Well," she breathed, that was impressive." "Thanks, mystical monkey powers. They come and go," he explained as he walked over and placed her arm over his shoulder again. "Speaking of going, that's probably what we should do before more of them show up," Dr. McCoy advised. Ron nodded in agreement. Before he could even take a step forward, another wave of babies appeared in the room. It grew in annoyance and started to move for another attack, when Shego pulled back in front of Chi with uniting her fists. Before Ron could offer up a protest, she let out a feral scream and swung her arms forward, releasing a massive wave of green and black plasma energy that nearly vaporized the baby battalion in front of them. "I didn't know you could do that," Ron remarked. "Me neither." Shego revealed before slipping a bit. In an instant, Ron was at her side and propped herself up. Despite herself and the situation, she smiled at him. Didn't know you cared so much, she remarked. I don't really. This is for KP, he cowered. That's what I meant. You bring yourself through a lot just to keep a promise to her. She's lucky to have a friend like you. Ron was completely taken aback by the unexpected compliment. Didn't really know how to respond to that. Fortunately, Dr. McCoy did have something to add. Can we please save the warm, fuzzy moment until after we got away for the killer robots? The scientist pleaded. Right, Ron said, then reached into his pocket and pulled out the communicator. Wade, we got a problem. What's up, Ron? Wade asked hurriedly. Your invisible field thingy was busted. Now we got babies on our back. What can we do? What level are we on? I don't know. The metal one! That doesn't really help. Hold on. Wade requested, then typed something on his keyboard. Okay, I got you. Doesn't look like you could make it to an exit from here, but there is a storage closet at least 5 feet to your right. Go there. Why would robots need a storage closet? Ron wondered aloud. Does it really matter at this point? Shego screamed. I guess not. Let's go! With that, the three made their way to the closest door as quickly as they could, thankfully avoiding another run-in with any more babies. When the door closed behind them, Ron turned to the light before pulling out the communicator again. Okay, Wade, we're in. Now what? Stay put until I think of a way to get you out of here, the super genius replied. That's not much of a plan. Best I can come up with, he replied with a shrug. Oh, and hold the communicator up to the control door. Ron cocked an eyebrow in confusion, but did as he was told anyway. A small beam shot out of the communicator and passed through the door controls. Alright, I've locked the BBs out so they won't be able to use the panel to open the door. Unfortunately, Wade's explanation was cut short by a loud bang on the door. That doesn't stop them from trying to bang the door down? Ron guessed hastily. Yep. So what do we do? You still have that EMP device? McCoy asked, after he held Shego down against the wall. Yeah, Ron answered as he started searching his pockets. It's somewhere around here. I almost got it. Here! He pulled out a translucent yellow plastic ball. Oh wait, that's Rufus's exercise ball. Here! Rufus squeaked, holding out the device from his usual pocket. Oh, thanks, buddy, Ron Boy remarked, as he took the device and handed the scientist. So, now what? Let me see that other thing, the, whatever you call it. McCoy's request as he snapped his finger and pointed at the communicator. It's called the communicator, Ron corrected him. Whatever, just let me see it. Ron gave him an irritated look for his tone, but he hit the communicator over nonetheless. McCoy took it and held the fuse screen over the piece of the EMP gun. Can that thing still work? He asked. Wade stiffly leaned over in his chair before he realized he could use the sim button for a better look. And he did. Rubbed his chin as he looked over the remains of the device. Looks like it. It'll just take some hot wiring. It won't have a bigger range, but yeah, it should work, he explained. Good. Bring out the schematics and I'll see what I can do. You sure? Yeah, I'm sure. I'll work with things more complicated than this all the time. Just need to see where I can go and fix it as much as I can. Alright, Lee said with a shrug, transmitted the information. McCoy looked over the schematics for a moment, then went about fixing the EMP module as best as he could. He let out a few muffled curses as the wires that still worked shocked him a bit, while the others simply refused to cooperate. As he worked on that, Ron pressed his back against the door, more out of instinct than necessity. He knew that the door slid open, rather than swinging, and that really less impressive bulk wouldn't add more strength to it. But he felt like something he could do in the situation. Even if that meant screaming every time one of the babies' punts rocked his body along with the door. For her part, Shego merely sat against the wall, and stared at her two heroes, with a complete lack of confidence. All she could really do was sit there, and hope her baby wasn't going to be born in a storage closet. Which, at this point, seemed to be a losing battle. She just hoped Kim was able to pull one for last-minute miracles, show up at the last minute to get her out of here and into a hospital. Though again, she wasn't holding out much hope. Be honest with yourself, Shego. That was going to happen, so you'll already be here. She tired herself mentally. There, I got it! Dr. McCoy shouted enthusiastically. Then how come it's not doing anything? Shego retorted. I got it to work. I still just need to turn it on, he explained. Then what are you waiting for? Alright. With that, the scientist reached into the remains of the EMP device, twisted a small bundle of wires. Though unseen by a naked eye, a rippling wave of energy shot out from the device, knocking out all the electronic equipment around them, including the lights. They sat quietly in the darkness, listening to the sounds of several large metal objects clacking against the metal floor as they fell. The noise lasted for several seconds, indicating that the wave affected at least most of the level they were on. It was only that finally stopped, and remained quiet for nearly a minute. One of them finally spoke up. So, is that what it is? Ryan asked. I think so, but it sounded like it marked most of them out, McCoy replied. But what if more come out there here? And they'll be knocked out too. The effect is going to last for a few minutes. Define a few, Shego demanded. Though she couldn't see it through the pitch blackness, he gave her an irritated look. A few. More than a little, but not much is a lot. He responded condescendingly. How many minutes is that? I don't know. Maybe 10, 15 minutes, maybe only one. Look, you should be happy that thing worked at all. Guys, this isn't getting us anywhere. We need to work on getting out of here. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but Stoppable's right. We gotta get out of here while we can, Shego agreed. Well, it would help if we actually see where we're going. Oh, I got that, Ron said. The other two of them heard him fumbling around. They found it followed by a excited, aha! Then a loud pop sound before the room was suddenly filled with light. They all clamped their eyes shut due to the seemingly blinding light. After blinking a few tries, their eyes finally adjusted to where Shego and Dr. McCoy could still be standing by the door, holding something that looked like a yellow wand. A glow stick? Shego asked with an arched eyebrow. Not exactly yet. It's like those things cave explorers use, only last longer and are brighter. Ron explained as he sat on a nearby shelf. Obviously, she remarked, holding a hand to try to block some of the light out. Let me guess, we tweaked it? Yep, great. Well, now we can finally see. Let's just get out of here, Dr. McCoy suggested. She moved to the control panel and pressed the open button. Unfortunately, nothing happened. Oh, no, 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 no! He muttered in a panic as he pressed the button repeatedly. What is it? Ron asked, walking over to him. The impulse also knocked out the control to the door, he shouted at Nias as he hit the door with his fist. You are a piece of junk! Oh man, does that mean we're stuck in here until that thing wears off? Ron cried. Yes, and when it does, we'll be able to leave, but we're back to being surrounded by dozens of killer robots. We've got a bigger problem, Shego croaked as she clutched her stomach. What could possibly top this? Dr. McCoy demanded. I think that serum they gave me is really starting to kick in. I'm having this baby now. To quote Bender, well, we're boned. Ron and Dr. McCoy gave each other panic-stricken looks before looking back at Shego. Yeah, that'll do it, Ron quipped. Shego's reply was merely to scream as a new, stronger contraction ripped through her body. Right was exactly what it felt like too, and the prospect of something was about to tear her its way out of her loins wasn't making her feel any better, especially given the fact that she had no drugs to dull the pain. The only two people present weren't exactly trained for this sort of thing. Well, do something! She cried out. Yeah, come on, you're a doctor, right? Ron asked Dr. McCoy. I'm not that kind of doctor, he shot back. But you can still help in some way, right? I guess. Not again. I'm not experienced or trained for this kind of thing. Well, neither am I. Will you two just shut up and get out of here? Shego screamed. The two looked at each other again, for nearly tripping over themselves as they rushed to her side. Ron going to her left and McCoy to her right. Okay, so what do we do? Ron asked. This is going to sound really crass, but we have to take off our pants, Dr. McCoy replied. Right. On it, the teen hero said, before he started to lean forward, only to be quickly stopped by a tug on his shirt by Shego. Oh no, you are staying up here! She growled and yanked him back towards her. Doc, can I trust you to be professional about this? About as professional as I can be given the fact that this is not what I should be doing, the scientist replied as he took his position. First, he slipped his shoes off, then carefully, albeit fumbling a bit, undid a button and a zipper to her pants and slid them off for her. Then instructed her to bend her knees up, while trying not to seem too uncomfortable. Grabbed a hold of them and gently spread them out so the baby would have enough room to be delivered. At least that was the idea. Whether or not this would actually work, he wasn't sure. Okay, puss? He requested in an uncertain tone. Shego did as she was told. Using just about every muscle in her body to push forward, almost immediately let out a near-deafening scream. The pain and the contractions were nothing to the actual act of giving birth. She recalled the many talks with Anne, where the Yellow Possible described it as pushing out a bowling ball. Now she could fully appreciate that analogy. Though it felt more like pushing a bowling ball with barbed wire wrapped around it. She used the breathing techniques she learned in all those baby breathing classes. Kim dragged her to it. At the time, she thought they were ridiculous and a waste of time, and now she was very thankful for them. Of course, she would be more thankful for a crap load of painkillers right about now. Shall I childbirth my ass? She thought irritably. Come on, Shego, you can do it. Just, push, Ron encouraged. Yeah, push, push. Rufus said, making push into us. This one was forepaws. Will you two just shut up? She screamed. Doc, how's it looking down there? Please give me the good news. Well, I'm not really the one to ask about this kind of stuff, but I'm assuming it's good. Though again, can't make any guesses how long this will take. Heard sometimes it can take hours, Dr. McCoy explained. Hours? That's no big. I seen you tear through streets like metal like they were nothing, Ron spoke up. Yeah, but I wasn't a sheet of metal. She cut her eyes shut, laid her head against the wall, let out another scream and round of pushing. As she screamed, she unknowingly reached out and grabbed Ron's hand and squeezed it as hard as she could. This, of course, caused the blonde teenager to scream with her. My hand! He cried out. It hurts so much! Hell, do you think I feel? Shego growled before letting loose another scream. The minutes seemed like hours as the process continued on that way. Lapses of labored breathing between all that screaming and pushing. Shego had no real time frame, but if the process could take hours like Dr. McCoy had suggested, she almost let the babies cut shin out of her. Of course, that also meant never getting to see her daughter at all. But she'd be damned if she let that happen. Especially if she hated to admit it, Stoppable was right. She just needed to find her strength to get through it. She gave another hard push and prayed it wouldn't be much longer. Well, ready for some good news? Dr. McCoy asked, a bit ironically. What? Anything? Shego gasped. The head's starting to crown, which, based on what I heard and read, means it shouldn't take much longer. Thank God! Actually, I think you could thank the babies for that. Whatever was in that serum must have really worked. Whatever it does, get this over with! Shego let out another deep, steady breath as he prepared for the final push. This was going to be the end of it, one way or the other. The last breath, she started to push again, squeezing Ron's hand tight again, and causing him to join with her, screaming once more. The screaming continued on for several minutes, until it was finally joined by a high-pitched cry. As recognition of what that sound meant sank in, she could quiet herself and let go of Ron's hand, finally letting him caress the wounded apprentice as he let out one final pained squeak. Shego forced her eyes open and looked down at the rather slimy-looking thing McCoy was holding in his hands. She also noticed the cord still connecting her to the baby. What? She started to ask. Yeah, we need to tie something to cut the umbilical cord, he said. Do you have a pair of scissors on you? Ron asked. No, I don't have a pair of scissors on me. Do you have a pair of scissors with you? Ron placed his hand on his chin, before casting an expecting look at Rufus. With that, the little mole rat saw the look, and figured out what his human friend meant by it. Let out a disgusted squeal. Ew! The princess shook his head figuratively. Well, that was worth a shot. At this point, Shego let out a frustrated growl, as he quickly leaned forward to cut the cord herself, with a quick swipe of her plasma-charged fist. The other three looked at each other, having witnessed this very unusual method of cord cutting. Then, she shrugged, and went about checking on the still crying baby. McCoy carefully slipped off his doctor's coat, and wrapped the tiny girl up in it to keep her warm, and wipe off much of the amniotic fluid as he could. When that was done, he handed her over to Shego, who accepted her as gently as possible. Okay, I really need to go wash my hands now, the somewhat phased scientist muttered to himself. Shego ignored his ranting, and focused slowly on the tiny bundle in her arms. Despite her reservations about what kind of mother she would make, she and Shin had accepted her quickly, as he stopped crying the second she was placed in the woman's hands. A small smile spread across Shigo's face as he looked down at the chubby, still mucky face peeking throughout the white fabric. Although the light Ron had provided cast a bit of yellow glow over everyone, so you could tell Shin shared the same pale skin as her. Honestly, that meant she probably faced the same problems Shego had when she first went out in public with her new look. But unlike her, Shin would actually have a family that was understanding, It would help her get through it. Um, if nobody minds, I know we can't see a photo of it, but... Oh! Together, seeing Kim could... Kim, Shego whispered, the severity of the situation returning to her. Kim hasn't come back yet. She's still in trouble. I've gotta go get her. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're not in any state to go anywhere, Ron protested. Maybe not. But Ned's never stopped me before, Shego replied as she struggled to pull her pants back on. The kid's right. You shouldn't be moving around. You just gave birth. Besides, the door's still not working. Oh, I can take care of that. She stayed as she slowly pulled herself up. Disregarding her shoes, Shego walked up to the sealed door, and after carefully shifting shit on her right arm, she held up her left hand and charged it with as much of her plasma power as she could. It instantly felt good to power up after all those months of limiting herself. It took a moment to revel in the feeling, but a moment was all she could afford. She brought her hand down with all her strength she could muster and sliced through the door's locking mechanism, then forced it open with a slight growl, and stared at the horde of deactivated BBs in front of her. She fired a plasma blast at the one directly in front of her. It took great pleasure watching it explode into hundreds of tiny shards and gears. Whether it was the adrenaline rushing her, or just pure hatred at the mechanical bitches that ruined her daughter's birth, she wasn't sure. But she now found the strength to find Kim and get them out of this hellhole. Can I just say that seeing Shego holding a baby in one arm and her hand firing up a plasma energy is one of the most badass things I've ever seen. Unfortunately, the group with her didn't share that view. Shego, you can't do this! Ron protested again as he stood behind her. Stoppable. I appreciate you want to keep your promise to Kim. Hell, even I appreciate your help just now. But this is something I have to do, she told him, not even bothering to look back at him. And I know protecting me is something you feel like you have to do as well. But it's not. I can handle myself. Now, if you want to do something you should do, that would be find the baby assembly line and shutting it down for good. But honestly, right now, I don't care what you do. I just know what I have to do. With that, she began walking down the corridor that it came from. Although she had a good game. I was convinced Rossi was perfectly fine. He could see the slight limp and slow pace of her walk. He knew it wouldn't take much to catch up with her and force her out of here. But he also knew she used whatever strength she had to fight him all the way. As much as he hated to admit it, as much as he hated to feel like he was letting down Kim, he knew she was right. So he simply walked her off and hoped that everything was going to turn out the best. So, what do we do now? Dr. McCoy asked. Exactly what she said. Find the BB line and shut it down, Ron said in a determined voice. Well, do you know which direction to go in? Nope. Do you know what we're going to do when we get there? Nope. Oh, the doctor mused as he watched Ron walk away. River scampering closely behind him. I'm gonna die! Despite his sentiment and his better judgment, he still followed after him. Kim listened to Ron as he tried to explain why he failed his driver's ed test. Some failure still weighing on her mind. Can't believe I choked! Check the bottle. I could do anything, she stated in an incredulous tone. Yeah, including fail. Kim's eyes stabbed open just in time for her to barely avoid the Queen's boot barreling down on her. As she rolled out of the way and sprung in a fighting stance, she couldn't help but wonder why that memory popped in her head right now. Yeah, including fail, the memory of Ron repeated. Shut up, she tied herself mentally. Yeah, maybe I can fail sometimes, but not this time. I won't fail them. I won't! She tied herself mentally. She won't. Re-energized by her convictions, Kim lost herself at the Queen, delivered a vicious left hook to the robot's jaw, followed up with an uppercut to her chin, with a high kick to her abdomen, knocking her back. She went to press her advantage further, but was stopped when the Queen caught her by her throat. She brought the hold by smashing her feet into her opponent's face, and continued to move forward, administering a series of left-to-right combos over as much of the Queen's body as she could. Unfortunately, they seemed to have very little effect on her metallic skin, was able to quickly defect Kino with a palm strike to the heating hero's chest. Her head fell to the floor at a couple of ragged coughs as she tried to regain her breath. Are you still trying to win? The Queen asked as she raggered over to the fallen Kim. I don't know whether to applaud your persistence or curse your stupidity. I enjoy yourself while you can, because soon enough, you're going to be nothing but spare parts. Kim threatened in a low voice. You still don't understand the situation you are in. There is no winning for you. No other way than... The Queen stopped when a strange feeling jolted through her body. It was a feeling dozens of her loyal subjects suddenly deactivating. The unexpected shutdown of that much of the hive was enough of a shock for her to completely ignore Kim as he tried to recover. Kim took full advantage of this distraction and struck out hard with a right fist in the Queen's jaw. She made sure to keep her advantage this time and not give the android an inch. That called for a drastic change in her fighting style. There were no more fancy jumps or twists or dodges or blocks. Nothing that called back to her cheerleader roots or even the 16 different styles of kung fu she knew. There was nothing pretty or elaborate about her fighting method now. She was simply landing as many punches as she could on the Queen's face, pouring her anger and rage into every one as she did. She didn't care if she was starting to feel the hits herself through the suit, care if she was wearing out fast as she liked. She didn't even care what mostly made her look insane. All that cared now was making sure this creature paid for all she had done to her and her family. This is for Ron! Kim shouted as he landed another punch. This is for Dr. McCoy! Another punch. This is for Shego! And another. This is for Shin! This time, punch was hard enough to not only snap the Queen's head back, but knocked her crown off her head. Landed with a loud clang against the metal floor, and skidded to a stop near her throne. Though Kim found a bit of satisfaction in the act, she wasn't finished. And this is for me! She cried out, bringing her fist down and knocking the robot's head forward a bit. Then brought both her hands up over her head and curled her together. And this is for the world! Her swing connected with such a force that it knocked only Queen to the floor, but caused her to dead a bit of her face. Kim stood there and breathed heavily as she waited to see if her opponent was going to get her again. There were several seconds of no moment. She felt confident she had finally beaten the Queen and started to walk out of the throne room. She stopped dead in her tracks, and her heart nearly froze when she heard the sound of metal scraping against metal, combined with whirling gears. You will pay for that! The Queen growled as she looked up at Kim, through the strands now covering her face. Kim simply stood there in utter shock, her mind unable to process what was happening at the moment. She was ripped out of her trance by a violent punch from the Queen that sent her spiraling to the floor. When she regained her senses, her hand went to her jaw to examine the damage. Now they felt broken, but she was certain the wound would start to swell soon, and if she received another hit like that, it would break her jaw. She had no time to worry about that, however, as her opponent quickly followed up that last attack by appearing before her and kicking her in the chest, sending her flying once again. This time, Kim was able to catch herself in midair and landed safely, but still collapsed when a sharp pain went through her. Okay, if that kick didn't break any ribs, then it definitely cracked it for you, she thought as she tried to push back the pain. And yet, you still try to fight, the Queen remarked in an exaggerated tone. I must admit your stubborn refusal to die is greatly irritating me. Kim couldn't help but smirk at that remark. Yeah, I have that effect on people. I hope you find that bit of defiance amusing. It will be your last! I don't think so. Why not? Because Dr. McCoy told me about that field safe he installed in personality chat. Much as you may want to, you can't kill me right now. Much to Kim's surprise and great disappointment, a bemused smile appeared on the Queen's face. Yes, that little bit of annoyance. While it is true that program is keeping me from killing you, at the moment, it says nothing about maiming you within an inch of her life. Kim's expression began to feel harder as the implications of that statement set in. She was already tired and injured as it was, but the tone of the Queen's voice promised that the real fight, or rather torture, was just beginning. She tried to take a deep breath, but it was cut short by the sharp pain in her entered ribs. She pushed it back, however, and did her best to psych herself up for the next round. Remember, wasn't doing this for herself, but the entire world, and more closely, Shego and Shin. She had to win this fight, and make sure her daughter grew up in a safe world. Hell, that she would grow up at all. It was a thought that forced her to take another fighting stance. Bring! She taunted. And bring was exactly what the Queen did, launching quickly into a volley of punches and kicks that put Kim on the defensive right away. She blocked many of the attacks she could, but still more than she would have connected. To make matters worse, She barely landed any hits on herself, and once again, those that did land barely seemed to do anything. Her injuries and rapidly fading strength were working against her, causing her to become sloppy. She wasn't really sure how long the fight had been going on. It was much longer than she wanted to. She had to find some way to turn the fight to her fans and quick. Otherwise, she wasn't sure she was going to make it back from this mission or not. Gathered enough energy for another roundhouse kick, but the Queen caught her and tried to cover her head. What felt like the 100th time in a few minutes, Kim felt herself flying through the air, landing hard against the metal floor. She tried to pull herself up, but only succeeded at getting 3 inches above the floor, before collapsing again. I can't do it, she admitted to herself, suddenly defeated even in her terrible voice. I don't have anything left. For once, I can't win. Then this is it. This is the mission I don't come home from. Tears started to well in her eyes as she thought of those she left behind. Mom, Dad, Ron, Shego, Shin, everyone. I'm so sorry for letting you down. Just please, forgive me. She admitted to herself. She sounded defeated even in her terrible voice. Tears started to well in her eyes as she thought of those she left behind. She closed her eyes at the end of her mental apology, vaguely listening to the metal sounds of the Queen stepping closer to her. Although she acknowledged the fact she was about to die, she still didn't accept it. She didn't want to die. Not yet. Not without seeing her daughter first. But what else could she do? Her body was completely tapped out. Bullshit! A familiar voice squirted from inside her. She forcefully opened her eyes, or thought she did, and found Shego standing there. The pale green woman stood out like a spotlight in her bright green and black outfit, against the total darkness that seemed to surround her. Kim noticed she looked different somehow. It took her merely that not only was Shego back in her old outfit, but she wasn't pregnant anymore. What? She asked, voice sounding tired and distant. I said it's bullshit that you can't fight anymore. Then Shego replied, and you know that. You're just making an excuse because she's tougher than anyone you've faced before. Exactly. She's even tougher than you, and I was barely able to hold my own when I fought. Yeah, right, Princess. You more than held your own against me. And you know why? Because you weren't afraid to push yourself to the limits. Go that extra mile when you needed to. I've gone that extra mile and more. I'm tapped out. I just can't do it. That's quitter talk. And one thing I know about Kim Possible is she's no quitter. Now, get your ass up and finish this metal bitch so you can get back to me and our daughter. She's waiting to meet you. Then Shego repeated. Kim's eyes opened for real at that last statement. She wasn't sure if it was hallucination brought on by her injuries, or fatigue, or was old subconscious, using Shego's image to try to force her to fight more. But she knew it was right. She wasn't a quitter. She had never been before, and didn't intend to start now. With a newfound strength rushing through her, she forced herself up into a kneeling position as the Queen moved before her. Do you remember that talk we had about the failsafe? The metallic woman asked. Well, I think I just cracked it. So now I can finally put you out of my misery. It's over. Kim breathed heavily through her cracked ribs. She stared up at her, slowly wove her fingers together. Never! She screamed, bolting upwards and delivering a blow to the Queen's chin, so powerful it sent her flying a good 50 feet. She landed with a loud crash against the floor. Pieces of both it and her shattering did so. Her body bounced before it came to a complete stop, and her objects powered down. Kim took a half step before collapsing to a heap once again, supporting herself with her right arm and left knee. As she let out a few pained coughs, breathing and the acid caught up with her, but still felt a great deal of satisfaction in that hit, more so than the last one. And just like the last time, her victory was short-lived when she noticed movement out of the corner of her eye. Once the Queen sprang up to save position. Oh, come on! She groaned as she tried to stand once more. She received assistance when the Queen used her super speed to appear before her, grab her by the throat, and lift her into the air. The redhead let out a few raspy gurgles as the hand clasped tightly around her windpipe. She tried desperately to swing her feet up to kick the Queen's face again, but they refused to work. Instead, all she could do was watch helplessly as the Queen brought up her left hand and called on her sonic weapon. I believe the frequency I have this set to will liquefy your brain within your skull and cause it to pour out your nose and ears, she said frantically. I shall take immense pleasure in watching that. Kim let out a choked scream as the sound wave bombarded her brain. Did in fact cause her great pain. Felt as her brain was thrown into a blender set to whip. In fact, she was positive she could feel a few brain cells popping. It was certainly slow and agonizing pain. She was certain the Queen could make it last as long as she could. This is why it came to a great surprise to her when it stopped only after a minute. Through her tear-filled eyes, she could see the robotic leader staring almost blankly at her with a surprised expression on her face. She then dropped Kim as if her arm had stopped working, slowly forced herself to turn around. Was he kid? So Kim could see why she looked so out of it. There was a large, smoky hole in the back of her head. It wasn't any smoke, however. It had a distinctive green coloring to it that Kim knew anywhere. She peeked out over her shoulder, where the Queen was now staring, and saw Shego standing by the door, left hand outstretched, while her right hand held some kind of white bundle close to her. It's a girl, in case you're wondering, Shego informed the now broken robot, nodding to the bundle in her hand. The Queen tried to walk forward, but felt gave out from under her and fell to the floor. As her systems began to rapidly shut down, her own fail-safe system quickly broke in. Warning, warning, critical damage occurred. Memory transfer now initiating. The eternal message was the last thing the Queen ever saw or heard. In the outside world, her body was forgotten about as the two new lovers stared at each other. Upon seeing Shego, and what she could only assume was Shin, she found a new burst of strength and pulled herself up, before limping to him as quickly as she could. Hey, Princess, miss me? Shego asked in a nonchalant manner. Kim merely smiled in response. Elsewhere in the hive, Ron and Dr. McCoy's plans to stop the BB assembly line were quickly ruined when a group of BBs abducted them at high speed and took them to another jail cell within the structure. This time they were watched very closely as the BBs seemed to talk about what they should do with them. After countless agonizing minutes, they seemed to make a decision. You have been judged to be a significant threat against the hive and our Queen. Therefore, only one action can be taken, one of the BBs spoke. You let bygones be bygones and let us go? Ron asked. No, another BB responded. Well, it was worth a shot. So what are you going to do with us? He said it. I gotta do it in a voice. Exterminate! The adjective quickly turned into a rallying cry as the BBs chanted as they moved closer. Exterminate! Exterminate! Their captors slowly moved in on them, and they prepared to carry out their self-assigned orders when they all suddenly stopped. Two humans looked at each other in surprise, then watched as the robots began to fall over. Barely shut down. So, it's not that I'm not thankful, but what the heck just happened? Ron asked. They just turned off, McCoy observed. There was some kind of protocol for them if their Queen was ever destroyed. So it's sort of backlash for the connection of the hive mind. Then that would mean KP did it and stopped the Queen. Yeah, I guess that would have happened. All right then, KP! Booyah! The blonde cheered, throwing his hand in the air victoriously. Don't get too cheerful. We still need to find our way back to her. Shut down this place for good. Dude, why you gotta go kill my good mood? Kim looked at the wrapped-up lab coat. She was holding her arms, and saw a tiny, pale green face staring back at her. My heart! Is that? She started to ask. Yep, impossible. Born in this dump just a few minutes ago, Seeger replied with a strange sense of pride. So then, Ron didn't get you out? Hey, don't blame him. We ran into some trouble. Kim only half listened, her attention drawn to the small girl at Seagull's hands. She started to reach out for her, but stopped halfway. Can I? Yeah, of course. She's your kid, too. Seagull replied as she started to hold Kim out. Then she stopped and noticed her legs felt incredibly weak. Actually, I think you better take her. Why? What's wrong? Kim asked, pain seriously through her. Just take the baby! The redheaded did as she told. It took shit just as Shego fell to the floor. Shego! She cried, her panic growing when she didn't receive an answer. Shego! Shego! The next hour and a half seemed to happen within a blur. Soon after Shego collapsed, Ron found Kim and was greeted by a year full of manic yelling and commands. This led him to giving her a fully working communicator and a quick call to Wade to help to shut down the assembly line, as well as call Global Justice in for cleanup. McCoy offered to stay behind and wait for them while also making sure every piece of equipment in the robot was switched off. Kim gave a hurried thanks as he ordered Ron to bring Shego to the car, and sped off to the Midtown Hospital. They were greeted by a full medical staff ready and waiting for them. Again, thanks to Wade. Kim almost watched helplessly as Shego and Shin were carried away from her to separate parts of the hospital, with reassurances they would both be fine. Before she knew it, she was standing alone in the bright, sterile hallway. It was like she had been left alone in the Queen's throne room. Though there had been plenty of hospital staff nearby asking her how she was doing, she didn't seem to notice them, and just kept staring blankly at the spot where her partner and daughter had just been. Keepy? A familiar voice finally spoke through. It took her a second to recognize the voice as belonging to Ron, and on his instinct she spun around and wrapped her arms around him, burying her face to his shoulder as he finally broke down and started to cry. This was, of course, startled by the outburst first, but quickly recovered and wrapped his arms around her in a warm and inviting hug. Then did the only thing he knew to do in the situation, comfort her. Shh, it'll be okay, KP. Just wait and see, he whispered. The docs here are top-notch. To make sure those two are better in no time. She said nothing in reply, only to continue to cry on his shoulder as he gently rubbed her back. There was a tense silence between them. He finally brought himself to say what he knew he had to say. I'm sorry, he said softly. I'm sorry I couldn't keep my promise. I didn't get them out in time. His provoked reaction as Kim pulled back and stared at him as if he had just insulted her family. The reaction only grew when she saw the shame in his eyes. A tiny smile spread across her injured face as he put a hand to his cheek. Don't, she told him. Don't punish yourself with that. You kept them safe. That's all that was important. I don't know how I can even begin to make it up to you for that, but maybe this is a start. She leaned forward and tightened the hug a bit. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, that's a really good start, Ron said with a smile of his own as he returned the embrace. Their tender moment was quickly broken up by a loud, piercing whistle that caused them to jump a bit. Though still in each other's arms, they turned her head towards them, towards the source of the sound, to find a doctor with curly brown hair and a name badge reading Dr. Perry Cox walking up to them. I really hate to break up this incredibly sapping moment, but I feel I must remind you that some of our patients, and at least some of our circle staffs, have diabetes, and this, he makes a wild-headed gesture towards them, could cause them to go into shock. Though utterly humiliated and completely annoyed, the two heroes pulled away from each other, stringing out their clothes as they looked at a rather rude doctor. That's better, Dr. Cox remarked. Now then, Red, I hear you were part of that circus that came in here a little bit ago, and looking at you now, I can see you get a little past up yourself. It's not big. I'm fine, really. Kim lied, and not very well. Dr. Cox let out an irritated sigh to let him know he heard that far too often. You know, I've been a doctor for far much longer than I care to admit, and yet I'm still amazed when people are dragged in here by their loved ones and claim that there's nothing wrong with them. He remarked, This is nothing I haven't dealt with before. I can handle it. Kim insisted. Right. And I told myself I could handle being around my ex-wife. But here I am, not only remarried to her, but also with a 2-year-old son and another on the way, which means I'm going to have to stay with her for a very, very, very long time, and deal with all her insane behavior until the day I die, which, honestly, will probably be from a stroke, after having to deal with everything here, and then coming home to her. And before you ask, the point of all this is, we don't always know what's best for us, so if you will, follow me. Look, I know my own body, too. The rat said it again, more determined. And I know the body too, and judging from what I see here, I'm guessing you received a pretty bad blow to the jaw recently, as well as several cuts and bruises. Unless, of course, those red spots for all over your right suit of yours is some kind of new fashion statement, and trends nowadays, who the hell knows. I also tell by the way you're moving that you're probably nursing a few cracked or even broken ribs. Kim stared at him in amazement. Yeah, I'm just that good, Dr. Cox replied. Now, let's go. Oh, God, I love you, Dr. Cox. I really do. And I should let you guys know, I have never seen Scrubs. I'm just a huge fan of Likara. Feeling defeated for the second time that day, Kim followed him into the empty rooms, where she began to treat her wounds as well as his rather unique outlook on life. She zoned in and out of his ranting and used most of her remaining energy to think about how Shego and Shin were doing. She hoped Shigo's collapse would do just the exhaustion of giving birth, not something more serious. In that vein, she also hoped that being born like that didn't have any adverse effects on Shin. She knew she would find out sooner or later, but she must rather be sooner than later. Like right now soon. And those are my 101 reasons why marriage is probably one of the worst things man has ever come up with. Right there below belly bands and the expression, my bad. Dr. Cox fizzed up. It was only Kim realized she was back at the main part of the hospital. Well, that's great, Dr. Cox, but if you excuse me, I want to go check on Shego, she said, moving away from him as quickly as she could. Yes, by all means, go see her. See her before you get tired of looking at her and just want to scratch your own eyes out. And don't think it won't happen, he warned. Kim shook her head in disbelief. In a bit of amusement, she walked up to where Ron was wrapped up and discussing with another of the doctors. This one younger than Dr. Cox, with spiked black hair and dressed in blue scrubs. And that's the point where Dr. Acula leans over to the patients and said, I have my own way of taking your blood pressure. The doctor explained as he adopted a fake Romanian accent. Ron stared at him like a deer in headlights. Dude, that is one of the most terrifying movies I have ever heard of. I totally go see that, he said enthusiastically. I knew people would like it. Ron, can I talk to you for a second? Kim asked politely. Sure thing, KP, he replied before turning to the doctor. Dude, stay right there. We gotta talk about this some more sometime later. The doctor pointed a finger in a you got it gesture before walking out to do his rounds. Ron did turn his attention to Kim. So what's up? I wanted to ask you the same thing. Do you know what happened to Shego and Shin? She asked in return. Well, they just brought Shego into one of the rooms. They said to let her rest for now. They said they still want to look Shin over, just to make sure everything's fine. Oh, and the rest of your family, as well as Monique, are here. But they're currently getting snacks in the cafeteria while waiting for you, he summed up. That's good, she said with a sigh. I guess I should go eat with them while I wait to hear something about Shego. Ron nodded and turned her leer towards the cafeteria when someone called them. Kim! Ron! They turned to see, surprised to see walking up to him. Jen? Dave? Kim asked in confusion. Yep. She agreed happily as she stopped in front of the two. Kim took a second to look her over. Was actually relieved to find the girl wasn't in her missing gear. Instead, she had on a black t-shirt with the slogan I Heart Anime across her chest, with the word heart replaced with the heart symbol, and a pair of jeans and sneakers. Dave seemed to be dressed more than the same as before, only a dark green t-shirt under his jacket instead of a red one. Though she knew it was incredibly rude, she couldn't help but stare at the pair in total confusion. What are you two doing here? She asked, hoping it didn't sound accusatory as it came out. Here to save the baby. She replied, How did you... Dave tapped the side of his head. Visit. Well, still a bit more painful. It was nice to see that one didn't have some dying in it. Wait, you got a visit about Shin being born? You didn't tell me? Kim growled, anger rising a bit. Look, I can't turn it on and off like a light switch. Just came to me earlier today, and we drove down to see if we could help. Obviously, we're a bit late. And we're very sorry for that, Jen spoke up. You know we would have been here if we could have. Kim sighed. Yeah, I know. It's just that it's been a very busy day. I'm sure, Jen remarked as she looked Kim up and down. So I got to ask, what's with the suit? It's a high-tech battlesuit that Lane invented. Has all sorts of gadgets built into it. Did he? She asked, raising an eyebrow. Oh boy, here she goes again. Hey, I don't suppose there's any chance Monica's in there with you, is there? She's in the cafe. Want me to take you there? Yes, very much so. As the two sidekicks walked away, Kim couldn't help but raise her own eyebrow and question Dave's request. I looked back to Jim for the answer. Apparently, they've been talking over IM since the first time we went down here. The brunette answered the unasked question. Talking how? I don't know, and I possibly don't want to know. I'm just glad someone from my team has found time for their social life. Kim was about to say something in response when one of the nurses interrupted her. Miss Possible? They say it's okay to see Miss Shego now, she said politely. We'll talk about this later, she said before excusing herself. Kim followed the nurse down one of the hallways to one of the dozens of similar-looking rooms. The big difference for her, though, was that this room contained the sleeping form of her new lover and mother to her child. She stood at the doorway, afraid to actually go in for fear of disturbing the peaceful-looking Shego. Everything they had been through, from the drama today to everything for the past 9 months. It was nice to see she could still look so content when she was asleep. Kim really hated the idea of breaking her from her slumber, but she also realized the need to sit down and quickly catch up to her. She tried to sneak into the room, but a combination of the freshly cleaned floor, along with her own fatigue, caused her to bump against the door, which made a very audible thud against the wall. Shego groaned as she was brought out of her slumber, and cracked her eyes open to see the source of the noise. What she saw was Kim standing in the doorway, with the brighter hallway lights enhancing the whiteness of her battlesuit, creating almost a perfect outline of her. A small, tired smile tugged at her lips. "Has my angel come to see me?" she joked. "I don't think angels hurt this much," Kim replied as she walked to the room, "or just tired." She emphasized that last point by practically falling down in the chair next to the head of Shego's bed. "Hey, don't talk to me about tired. You're not the one that had to push a human being out of you," Shego remarked. "You're not the one that had to go 5 rounds with a souped-up toaster with oozes of grandeur," Reddick countered. They both looked at each other seconds before smiles broke out their faces, and they shared a small laugh. When they recovered, Kim reached out and grabbed Shego's hand, careful not to pull the IV out. "How are you feeling?" she asked. "Tired," Shego replied. "Docs say to straighten a birth, any combination of using my powers kinda caught up with me at once." "But they say you're gonna be okay?" "Yeah. I've asked Jen. Still running tests." Kim leaned back in the chair with a sullen expression on her face. She didn't like the idea they were doing tests on her daughter, and hoped it wasn't a sign that something was wrong. Before she could go too far into her own reprieve, however, she felt a strong squeeze on her hand and looked up at Shego, who was giving her a reassuring smile. "Hey, come on. Don't put on that face," she pleaded. "Sorry, I just can't help it. I mean, with everything that's happened and the way she was conceived, I can't help but worry something might be wrong with her," Kim replied. "If there is, we'll handle it. We're pretty good at handling the unexpected." "That's true," Shego said with a sigh. "Which brings me to my other concern. This isn't the first time someone's tried to get Shin, and with a kind of life we lead, I'm just afraid someone might come looking for her again as she's born." "And if they do, we'll kick their asses so bad that they never thought the idea." "Maybe. But how can you be so sure we'll get there all the time? Really, what kind of life will that be for her if her moms are constantly running out to save people? How often will we get to see her? How will we even fight for her?" "They quit." Kim snapped her head towards the signs expressed on her face. Shego just answered back with a satisfied grin. "See? Can't do it, huh?" she gutted. "Well, Don't feed me any BS, Kimmy. I saw that look on your face when I suggested you quit. You can't do it because you're not that type of person. You have to go out there and help others, no matter the risk. And to be honest, it's one of the things I've admired about you for a while, even before all this." "You mean back when you worked for Dr. Draken?" Kim asked, still confused. "Yeah. Don't ask me why. I guess some part of my hero days identified with that, wishing I could have been as selfless." She sighed. "But I guess that's one of the uniquely Kim things, which is fine. Like I said, it's one of those traits I admire in you. Now one of the reasons I love you." Kim smiled down at her, and despite all the pain running through her body, leaned forward and gave Shego a soft kiss. At least, it started out that way, but quickly grew to something more passionate, as the relief of them being okay washed over them. It was brought to a screeching halt, dang it! However, by a knock on the front door. Kim nearly jumped back into her seat, as both went to see Dr. Anderson standing there, holding Shin in his arms. "I hope I'm not interrupting anything." "You were!" he said. "Just thought you might like to hold your baby now that we're done with her and got her all cleaned up." "Of course I do. Bring her over here, Doc," Shego ordered as she sat up in the bed slightly. Dr. Anderson walked over to the bed and carefully handed the woman to her child. He smiled a bit at how she and Kim both brightened up by seeing her. "Well, I'm sure you 3 want to be alone, so I'm going to try to corral all your family and friends that showed up," he said before showing himself off. The 2 new parents barely acknowledged his presence as he stared at the new life in Shego's hands. Now properly cleaned up and in better lighting, they could tell that Shin had indeed inherited Chico's pale green skin, and the peach fuzz covering her head was any indication she inherited her black hair. Kim found a little bit of hope in a small patch of red fuzz near the front of her head. Well, looks like she's got part of my genetics after all, she tried to joke, but said enough more relieved than anything. Hey, not a lot of your appearance may have gone through, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of attitude in her. Shego reassured her. I hope so. Certainly wouldn't want her to have your attitude. And what's wrong with my attitude? Do you really have that much time? Shego huffed. Just for that, I'll let you hold her. Come on, I was just kidding, Kim pleaded. Shego tried to keep up her firm appearance. Well, Cookie gave out to a bout of mischievous laughter. Yeah, so was I. Here, she said, holding the baby out to Kim. The redhead carefully took her back and leaned her in the chair and stared at her daughter. Her daughter. It was still part of her that found odd, even holding Shin in her hands. It was a long, hard road to get here, but it was well worth it, she whispered. Got that right, Shego added. Now you're here. I am going to live up to that promise I made a while back. What promise is that? The redhead looked back at the woman in bed, being whether or not to tell her. Showing her ego was fragile, didn't like the idea of being weak or having to be looked after. Seeing the amount of compassion in the eyes just now, Kim herself. She figured she might be dead after all. I made a promise I would protect you too, she admitted. Shego stared at her for a moment and smirked. Well, hope you won't mind I borrowed that one from you. Not at all, Shego. Not at all. Kim looked down at Shin again. She was the miracle baby that not only provided a new form of birth, but did the unthinkable and brought two former enemies together, in a bond that was very few others could share or understand. It was a new beginning for all of them, and no matter what life threw at them, she was sure they could see it through together, as a family.